Hi guys, my name is Daryl, and today I just want to kind of tell you what's been going on in my life over the past few months. It was unexpected, it was life-altering, it was something that, my family and I, it was a great challenge for us to go through, and it was just something that, it was tough. And what it was after 22 years of renting a space and being a part of the community, my landlord decided to triple the rent. And as my lease ended, it was just a price that it was way out of my league. I mean, it was just, he wanted almost $10,000 a month to rent a 6,700 square foot place, especially after COVID. I mean, a lot of businesses were shutting down. They're still shutting down. I mean, a lot of places are empty. And the landlord wanted a crazy price on the rent. And I just, I couldn't do it. Just financially, just could not do it. And so it put me and my family in a very difficult situation. And I couldn't find a space for about a month. We were looking and searching, and I was contemplating shutting down the business, and I don't know what to do. And so it was a very, very trying time. But fortunately, I was able to find a space and to be able to stay in the same town. And it's been a blessing because it's a little bit smaller, but it's actually a better location. And so once all the dust is cleared and all the the hours of moving equipment and breaking stuff down and rebuilding it and doing everything like this, it was a challenge, and it was very time consuming, and it made us very tired, and I've been out of circulation for a little while. But now I got a new gym. I'm very excited about it. It's a new space. I can still do all my Vince Gironda videos and demonstrations, and I'm very excited to continue on with teaching Vince's methods and showing you guys the exercises and, really keeping his legacy alive. I think that there aren't enough of us doing this. And that was one thing that was really pressing on me, was if I were to close down my business, where would I end up doing these demonstrations and so on. So I'm so fortunate that I was able to find this space so I can continue on, not only for Vince's sake, but also for my own sake, for my family, so we can financially survive here in this town. And it's been a great opportunity for me to kind of to branch out and do different things. So I've actually changed the name of my business, and I'm looking forward to continuing on and educating people on how to do not just Vince's exercise, but also just exercise in general with proper nutrition and corrective exercise guidance. And so that's where I'm at. So the downside of the move was that I had to give up certain areas of the space that I was once in, and that was my Vince's Gym Museum. The museum was basically just a museum, and it was just set up so that people could look at the equipment, and I didn't really want people messing with it or training on it unless they were personally training with me. And so it was such an exclusive area of my gym that I could keep it all closed off. But in my new space, I just don't have the luxury of having that much space to devote to the museum. So what I had to do is I put all the equipment in my basement, which is now positioned really nicely in my basement, and it's well protected, and it's all climate controlled and everything. And it's awesome because now I can just wake up in the morning and go down and train at Vince's gym every day. And so I can use the equipment, and it's a great location. And it's only temporary. I'm going to eventually, once I can get more space, I'm going to actually add the museum back into my business. And then I'll be offering the Vince experience, where people could actually come and train on the actual equipment itself. But that's further down the road. Again, this was a move that I was not expecting to do 3 months ago. And now I'm just trying to get used to my new space, but everything is working really well so far. And again, all the Vince's gym equipment it's all set up, and it's still safe. And I might even shoot some videos from my basement. I know it's not professional, and it's not probably the most glamorous video stage on the planet, but at least you could see the exercises on the actual pieces of equipment. I know some guys probably won't like that, but it's the best I can do. I mean, I'm doing the best to keep this stuff going and to keep Vince's legacy alive, as well as, trying to survive financially with my family. So, there's got to be some trade-offs. It's like, have a business where I can, appeal to more of the general public. The Vince's Gym equipment is fantastic, but it's only a few select people ever want to use it. And so that's why I had to decide, financially, what was my best move. And so to put the equipment at home, I just feel safer with it there because I can protect it. And it's a climate controlled environment, even though my other business was like that. But I always felt a little nervous knowing that all that equipment was in there. And, it was, the public could see it, which was great. But then I was always a little bit nervous thinking that, what happens if someone broke into the business and, started taking things. And so that was the biggest trade-off, was to decide, what am I going to do with Vince's museum and my own business. So eventually, again, I'm going to have a space devoted just for the museum. And but for right now, it is what it is. And I'm going to do the best I can to keep this thing going, and hope that guys appreciate it. So I don't even know if anyone really, watches these videos. I mean, I get a few hits every once in a while, and it's great. But I kind of do this for myself, and it was a promise that I made to my friend, one of my best friends actually, and I really miss him a lot, is Ron Kozloff. He was the owner of NSP Nutrition, Research Nutrition, out in Detroit, Michigan for years. And we were very close, and he was just a great friend of mine. And I always told him that, as long as I was alive, I would keep the legacy of Vince's Gym and the exercise and the nutrition and everything going, because, that's very important. I think that so many people are missing out on this information. I think that, what Vince and Ron and Larry Scott and all these guys that used to train at Vince's Gym, it was very special, and they did exercises that you don't even see anymore, and I think that a lot of guys are missing out. I see so many things on YouTube and everything. Yeah, there's great exercises, there's thousands of different variations of everything, but no one's really going over what Vince taught, and to, let all this stuff kind of fall to the wayside was just it's an injustice to Vince and to the natural bodybuilding world. And I think that, by keeping this going as best that I can, and, I just hope that people appreciate what I'm trying to do, and, and that's really what I'm, my passion is that, to share, true natural bodybuilding techniques, but they were taught from one of the greatest bodybuilding minds of all time. And I just want to keep it going because, I think if there's enough momentum, maybe this can last for a long time. And I think by putting it on video, for generations to come, they'll be able to share this and to watch this with their families and their, buddies or whatever, that they can, learn these techniques. I think that, it would be such a waste of my life to be able to go through all these exercises and go through all this information, to learn all this stuff, and to be connected with Vince and Ron for all these years that I was connected to them. And, even with Larry Scott's things and, all the inventions and then my own inventions, and to keep this all hidden, without ever showing this on video or recording or anything, I think that would be just a travesty to bodybuilding. I think everybody that has, secrets or techniques that are just phenomenal, they should be teaching them to all of us so that we could all continue to learn and to expand upon natural bodybuilding. I think that, there's just so much out there. And that's what I'm trying to do with Vince's stuff, is to really, to keep that going so that people can appreciate what this man did. Yeah, he was a cantankerous kind of guy, and, if you knew him personally, sometimes a lot of guys didn't like him. He was not well liked in the bodybuilding world, but then the guys that really got to know him, they loved him. So he was either loved or hated. It was kind of one of those situations. And I think if you kind of just appreciated and respected what he was putting out, then he would also have respect for you. And I think that's where I came in. I think that all the years that I communicated with him and the programs that he wrote for me and everything, it was just a business. But I was hungry for knowledge and to learn the stuff. And I think that if you showed that, I think then Vince, he kind of realized that you were serious, and I think that he gave you more of him than the cantankerous kind of guy that if you came in and you were trying to outdo him or out with your theories and all these kind of crazy things with like powerlifting and all that, I think that he got turned off, and he made it very difficult for you to train at his gym or to get into his head. And so I think that those that really gave him the respect that he deserved, he gave it back to everybody else. So I think that over the years, as we kind of were going along with all this stuff and he kind of faded out, a lot of the guys that, I don't know if it was jealousy, I don't know if it was just hatred or whatever, but people would just shut him out. And then that was it, and so then, I just never gave up on it. I've been training under his stuff for since I was 18 years old. That's a long time ago now. But the idea of, being able to expand upon his ideas and his theories and everything, and you can really, get into his programs, you can really understand what he was going after, and, you can start to see all the change in your body, and then you start to put the nutrition pieces together, and it just all makes sense. And so, I just really appreciate those that do support me, those that have been buying the books, and again, I'm not doing this to make $1 million or more than that or whatever. But I like to get compensated because, to print the books, they're almost 600 to 800 pages long, and if I were to print those out for free, I'd be spending tons of money on my own. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be selling books and I wouldn't be selling them. I would just be getting them out, and it just, I want to be compensated for the shipping charges and the printing charges and the time that I put into it and everything, and that's why I do it, because it just keeps me going. It keeps me to be able to keep sharing the knowledge. Otherwise, there has to be some give and take. I'd love to be able to work for free and to give everything for free to everybody, but it's like there's a trade-off. You have to actually have money to survive and to make this stuff work, and you have to buy space, you have to rent space, you gotta do all the videos and the time that it takes to put these videos together and things. There's just a huge investment on my end. And so I just really hope everyone appreciates what I'm trying to do and continue following me, as well as just giving me a chance to teach you what I know. And again, I don't know every aspect of Vince's gym. I know a tremendous amount, but I don't know every little thing. And I don't know, Vince had so many different exercises that he didn't even publish. There's so much pieces of equipment that, he had that he probably got rid of over the years. And, there are things that, that I would love to have learned more of. He had like this moon bench, which was phenomenal, that only a few pictures you ever see. But, what else did he do with that thing? It's like, he did the posterior flies and things, but he had so many different things. And that's the thing, that if guys that used to train like in the 60s and the 70s that really knew his stuff and that knew all the different exercises that were kind of unique, that weren't published, it'd be great to know those exercises. But those guys never have come out of the, in the mainstream to discuss about Vince's stuff. So it's like, there's like little fragments of it all over the place. But, the guys that really knew Vince and that really knew all his exercises, they haven't done anything. They might mention him in a book every once in a while, a couple paragraphs or whatever, but they never go into his stuff so deep that, they don't give him 100% credit. They always just say, well, I did a couple exercises with Vince, or he showed me a few poses and, helped me with my posing or whatever. But, I think that they knew more than that, but they just never wanted to give him credit, because I think people kind of always want to have the credit for themselves. Like I could have taken all this information myself and just, lived in a town that didn't know anybody about bodybuilding or whatever, and I could have, just promoted it myself. I could have put it in. I could have taken the programs and just put a different name on it, and just kind of use it all, and just kind of said that I made it up. These are my exercises or whatever, and I could have made money off it, whatever. But that was never my intent. I think that would be a horrible thing to do to somebody, and so that was never. I always decided that, when someone teaches you something, or when you do something nice for, and you get benefit from it, that you have to pay back. You have to give that person credit. You know, every exercise that I've ever done, and if it wasn't my own exercise that I invented, I always give credit to the person who developed it. You know, like when Larry Scott told me some things and taught me some exercises, I always give him credit, and I don't know if he got it from somebody else, but I learned it from Larry, and so that's who I'm gonna give credit to. I learned it from Vince. Again, Vince, you know, for the most part, you know, whether he, you know, took some ideas off of Steve Reeves or, you know, Reg Park or, you know, whoever, you know, wherever he got his exercises from, but I learned them from Vince, and these are the exercises that I'm gonna give him credit for. Same thing with Ron Kozlov, you know, with all his nutrition and everything that he taught me about, you know, exercise as well. And so I think that's important, as for me, to always give credit, because again, I'm not going to be a guy that's going to rip people off and take stuff and try to sell it and to market it in a different way or whatever. I just think that, you know, that's a piss poor way to live, and I'm not going to be like that. And so I think that, you know, character is huge, and I always give respect to the guys that always taught me stuff. And maybe someday, you know, who knows, maybe there's some person that has come through my gym over the past 23 years or so. You know, maybe I taught some exercise to them, and maybe, who knows, you know, maybe they're going to have a Daryl Conant museum somewhere, you know, someday. I don't know. But, you know, it'd be nice to be able to pass it on to somebody else, and to, you know, to get the credit that I deserve too, because there's a lot of exercise that I've developed, and I've learned that that worked for me really well. And, you know, I think that, you know, it'd be kind of a cool thing to be recognized and to have a little respect on some of the stuff that I've invented, so people could, you know, give me credit for it. And, you know, over the years I've been ripped off. I've created things, and it's too bad that people have to be like that, and you know, they steal your stuff, and, you know, they don't give you any credit, and then you know, you try to fight it and you just can't win it. But you know, that's the thing. I think that over the years, you know, with all this, it's not about you know, who you know, knew Vince the most and all this stuff. It has nothing to do with that. I am teaching what I have taught for, you know, I've been doing this for a very long time, and I just always felt that if something works, then, you know, you got to share it. And again, I made my promise that I made actually right up to when Ron almost passed, probably about a month before he passed. You know, I gave him a promise all the way to the very end, and I said that I will always continue to support Vince's stuff and Ron's things and all his nutrition advice and all his and his company and everything. And as long as it was, you know, staying true to Vince and staying true to the natural bodybuilding way of life, and I've done that, you know, and I'm going to continue doing it. You know, I still got a lot more I got to do. I still got a lot more I got to show. And again, I really hope you guys appreciate all this, and I hope that, you know, going forward, if there's anything you guys want to see or you know, I'll be able to do that for you. And as long as I can move and breathe and do all this stuff, I'm going to continue training with Vince's methods and my own methods, and hopefully, you know, just see how long I can take this thing as far as I can. You know, I mean, I think that there's so much out there that people are just missing. And I think that, you know, for me, you have to be stimulated. You have to always find ways to stimulate the muscle and always get the excitement of exercising, because exercise can be so boring. It can be like, you know, so monotonous. You know, like going to these gyms where it's just, you know, sort of powerlifting, where you're just doing deadlifts and squats and heavy bench press, and it's like, my gosh, man, if I had to do that every single time, there's no way I would last this long in this game. I mean, I think, you know, I like the different variations. You know, they might not be the greatest exercises, but they're fun. You know, it's something different. You know, and so there might be something that, yeah, you could do 10 exercises for the rest of your life and get gains or whatever. But, you know, I like doing the different variations. I like doing, you know, all these things that are, you know, come up with new ideas and trying to figure out, you know, if you change the angle here, if you do this, you know, can you get a little bit more out of it to see if you can stimulate the muscle a different way. And, you know, it's fun. I like the different variations. I love the different methodics of the exercise programs. And I think that's what Vince really taught me the most, was to always keep changing it. Every three weeks or so, you should always change it anyways, because you get adapted to it. And I think that was a huge piece, and I've always done that. I've never stayed on a program for longer than 3 weeks. And it's made a huge difference in my excitement and my longevity of bodybuilding, because it gives you something to look forward to. If you do the same thing over and over and over for months on end, I mean, my gosh, that would be so boring. And some guys do it, but I can't. I have to keep moving different directions, and I got always kind of keep building upon, different things to stimulate the muscle, and that's how it works. But guys, I want to thank you again for your support, and again, I'm going to try to do my best that I can over the years to continue on and to keep pressing forward, and to teach as much as I can about not just Vince's stuff, but my own things, and with nutrition and exercise, that you can get the best out of your experience with weight training and nutrition, and live the best quality life that you possibly can. And I think that's the goal for this whole thing. That's what natural bodybuilding is all about. It's about not just on stage and win a trophy. It's about life. It's about living through the stress of everything, and coming out on top, and being the best version of yourself at every year. And that's what it really comes down to. It's like, to be able to play with your grandchildren if you have to, or to be able to, go on trips and take hikes and do all these things with your family and your friends, and to be able to, do it all with vigor and no ailments and all that, and that your body is able to respond to all the different stresses. And that's what natural bodybuilding is all about. It's a lifestyle. You're eating right, you're exercising right, you're doing everything possible to stay as healthy as possible for as long as you can. And I think that's the key, to all this. It's having fun and excitement of training, and staying within your own build and your own parameters of your own physiology, to be able to, to exercise all the systems of the body to keep them as healthy as possible. And I think that's what it's all about. That's what it's about for me. I love to compete. I love to challenge myself. And for me, it's never been about being the biggest guy in the gym, or being the guy that can lift the most weight or whatever. It's always been about living within myself, and to be the best that I could possibly be for myself and my makeup. I've had a tremendous amount of opportunities to take drugs and all that, but I never did, because I just didn't see the point. I had no idea what it meant to get up to 240 pounds and to win a little trophy, and then get off the stuff, and then go back down to 185 pounds again. I mean, it makes no sense to me. If you can stay at 245 for the rest of your life and 4% body fat, I mean, wow, maybe that's something to consider. But it doesn't work that way, and all the side effects of all that garbage doesn't work. So it's like, I mean, it's so dangerous. And so for me, it was always about, living within my own makeup and my own ability, so that I could be the best person that I could be. Not just for myself, but also for my family. I didn't want to just be a selfish bastard where, I just wanted to train all the time and never have a life. I wanted to have a wife and kids, and, the whole thing. I own my own business, and, to be able to experience every facet of life, so that I can be not just one-dimensional, but multidimensional, so that I can, be just the best person that I could possibly be as I live this journey on Earth. I think that's the whole idea of the bodybuilding lifestyle. You got guys that cheat, and you got guys that do it the right way, and they just press forward and make small gains every year, but you just keep pressing forward, and you're reducing the aging effect as you go along. And I think that's the key to it. I've seen so many guys do drugs, and all of a sudden they look like they're 60 years old when they're 30. And whatever, but that's their thing. But for me, it's always been a tool to expand upon my consciousness. It's just something that you would use, just like nutrition, and just like your social interactions, and your, everything that's all in place. And I think that's the key to it all, is to keep it all everything in balance. And if there's one thing that's out of balance, then the whole thing falls apart. So I think the biggest key to it all is really just keeping everything just well connected, and keep it all in balance, all in synergy. And that's what it's all about. And guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. I know this has been an extremely long one, but it's just something I've always wanted to say and get off my chest. And again, I really thank you for your support, and I hope that you continue to support me. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch these videos and learning this stuff. And if there's any questions or concerns that you have with Vince's methods, you can check out my website. It's www.darylconner.com. I'd be more than happy to talk to you over the phone, via email, whatever, if you have questions. I'm always available, and I'll always respond to everybody that is interested in this stuff. So, guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. Take care. See you next time.